When, babe?
Whenever you're ready, mate.
Are we on? Is the camera on? We're really professional here.
We are.
Yeah, mate. You know how it is. Us YouTube sensations.
There seems to be a little bit of a delay. I'm watching it on the screen, and it's
Yeah,
actually
there
going
is.
through an ad at the moment.
And you'll have to turn your speaker off and put your headphones on.
Yeah. Oh, no, that's right.
Simon?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, okay. No feedback. No, it's working good. All right.
I know.
Okay. Welcome, guys, and welcome to Ed's Four-Wheel Drive and Camping. We're here tonight with Simon from Lock In Your Hubs. How you going, mate?
Great, mate. First time live. So go easy on me, Ed, okay?
Really? We're going to hit the hard questions first. You know that, don't you?
Well, as long as they're technical, I should be right. If you're asking about, astrology, I might struggle.
On astrology? We're probably getting a little bit of feedback. I'm just going to go to the comments so we can see. Oh, gee, look at everybody's on, mate. We better say hello to a few of these people.
Who have we got there? I can see Naz and Terry.
We got that one.
And who else have we got there? Oh, Duncan. G'day, yep. Duncan. How you going, mate? Thanks for the sticker. Mine should be arriving shortly to you.
Oh, and you might know this bloke. I don't know.
Ready Boots. No, I don't know Ready Boots.
Like Dirt Road 4x4?
Well, look, I've gotten to know him. No, he's a great bloke.
He is, isn't he?
And he's having a sale coming out soon.
Yes, he is. He is having like a 30% off sale.
I will be there.
And we've got Beyond Grey Oz. They're on.
G'day, how are you going?
They just, guess what? They got 2,000 subscribers, mate.
Oh, fantastic. Congratulations. You don't realise how much of a battle it is until you're actually, until you do it yourself.
Yeah, it kills you, mate.
Especially the first 1,000. Well, I think the first 100's the worst. What do you reckon?
100?
Ed?
Yeah. I reckon every subscriber's a hard one. Then we got Terry G's here as well. G'day, Terry.
G'day, Terry. How you going,
Robin.
Michael. And Michael.
Yep. Coming in thick and fast. And we got, Trevor's trying to get his 1,000. Oh, he's dying. He's busted.
Geez, I'll tell you what, he's close. I tried to give it a little bit of a push today.
Yeah.
And all my subscribers must already be subscribed to him because we moved him up a little bit, but he didn't quite get over the precipice.
Oh, he will. I feel positive about this.
Great content, so it'll happen.
Yeah. Now, are you ready? This is the hard-hitting questions we start off with, as you're well aware. How's the heart going, mate?
Well, I think it's below 200 now, so it should be fine.
All right, here we go. First question. Favorite color and star sign?
Now, star sign. I thought we weren't going down the astrology way.
Yeah, we go.
All right, I'm a Pisces, which is ironic because I don't swim. And favorite color. Well, I was discussing this with a good lady wife last night, and she readily informs me that black isn't actually a color; it's a shade.
It is,
but predominantly black, I suppose.
No, it's not a colour. It's a shade. You've got to get a colour. You can't do the next thing. Go camo. Come on.
How about a little bit of differentiation? Ozcam. There we go.
We'll call it grey. How's that for a colour?
Okay, great. Grey's fine. We'll go with grey.
And you got the beta blocker. You're taking your beta blocker, aren't you, at the moment?
Yeah, mate, I'm chewing down those things like there's no tomorrow. You have no idea.
All right. We got the hard question out of the way. Now we're going to go for the hardest one.
Yep, certainly. Shoot.
You ready? Tell us about your 4B, mate.
Oh, okay. I've got a couple of them, actually. My first four-wheel drive, and I still own it, actually, is a 80 series Land Cruiser. It's your standard model, so it's one with the barn doors on the back.
Yeah.
Way too many modifications. So it's still the Asthmatic 1HZ. I maintain that nothing passes me off-road, everything passes me on-road. Manual, obviously diesel, twin locked, mud tires, all the usual bits and pieces. It's a good rig. It's a bit of a tractor, really.
Yeah. Tires.
And the second one's primarily the wife's shopping cart. It's a Suzuki Grand Vitara. It's a V6, way too many electronics, and I'll put extra electronics in there to confuse her even more. But that's a good little thing. Off-road's got a on sand primarily. It's a automatic, and it's got a V6 petrol in there, 3.2 litre, and does really well off-road on sand dunes. So we take it up to Robe and Portland, things like that. Does really well there.
So what mods you got on your 40? Your favourite one?
On the
80, yeah.
I've got all the usual touring mods. So I've got a long range tank under the back. I think it's a custom one because I've got a 4x4 Labs rear bar on it, and to fit a winch in there. And so I had a custom LRA rear tank. I think it's 140, 150 litres around that sort of mark. It's got a rear bar, front bar, ARB front bar was, but they don't have quite the clearance that I need for the sort of four-wheel driving that I do. Yep. So I attack that with an angle grinder and a TIG welder and fix that right up. It kind of resembles an ARB these days. Yeah. And the side, of course, you have the rock crushers on the side there, so you can still open up the doors at the end of the day. Twin ARB locked. The e-lockers weren't available back in the day when I put lockers on that. And I know a few people have had a few issues with the air leaking inside the lockers with the ARBs and the TJM Pro lockers as well. But let me tell you, it's probably been locked for a dozen years now. And other than regular maintenance, I haven't had a single issue with them. They've been absolutely fantastic.
Nothing?
Not a single issue.
Really?
Great.
Why is that? Because that could be the reason because it's a Toyota.
Well, they do say you pay the Toyota tax for a reason.
Yes. It's funny that, isn't it? You pay that Toyota tax for a reason.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, those people, though, have bought the likes of 200s lately, watching their cars steadily appreciate, which is unheard of. It's
amazing. You know, even the FJ, I stole that from the dealer for 32, and it's like valued at 50 something now. It's a great car.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really strange when you look at a 4 or 5 year old car that you can sell now for more than what you purchased it for. Yeah, it's unbelievable.
The weirdest thing. So we're going for a record tonight. You know that, don't you?
Well, we did check beforehand. What was the record number of participants in a live stream?
She must be obeyed, and the Minister of War and Finance said 30.
30, and what are we sitting at the moment there?
It's looking 24, so we've got 6 to go. I'm feeling a bit like
I'll tell you what, I did let people know.
1,000, you know.
I did let people know out there that I was coming live and getting on the beta blockers with Ed tonight, and so hopefully we'll get a few more across the line.
So now I had a couple of questions from. I actually got text messages today.
Okay.
This is again, yes. So we're going to sort of change up a little bit. I'll just get the first one out. There's always this one. It's not a question, it's a request.
Okay.
That one's done. This one here these are our personal opinions. You ready? That's the question. Ready? Catch cans. Fact or fiction?
Oh, catch cans. All right. So, look, as far as catch cans go, it's more to do with mitigating the bad things that the more modern cars, their emission controls do. So what happens is the particulate matter, especially with diesels, particulate matter from your exhaust gas recirculation combines with the crankcase gas recirculation, and it leaves a sooty deposit inside your manifold. Now, diesels traditionally are designed to run dry. The inlet manifold that is designed to run dry, especially for the direct injection models. So what you're doing is you're by doing that, you're removing the oil in the vapor that comes out of your crankcase that then doesn't get so much of a chance to mix with the soot that's coming from the exhaust gas recirculation, and therefore coats your inlet manifold less with the gunk. And it's particularly a problem with the likes of the 1VD and the 200 series. They seem to block up a lot. So yes, I think they're a very good idea as long as they flow enough. So your crankcase gas, of course, builds up pressure inside there, leaks past the rings and builds up pressure in your crankcase. And as long as it flows enough and can get back into the inlet manifold whilst getting the oil out of the suspension in the air, they're a fantastic thing.
What about with the premium diesel and stuff like that? You use diesel and you use the premium diesel. Is there a difference like in the car itself or how the catch can work? It's got low sulfur diesel or whatever.
Oh, look, they've pretty much moved to a low sulfur diesel all round, and you can think of sulfur as a component of diesel like lead used to be as a component of petrol. It's a lubricant in the fuel. So as far as premium diesel and the likes of what they call truck diesel is concerned, there's not a lot in it, to be honest. The cetane ratings are around the same. Like petrol, you're not really benefiting from the extra expense of the likes of 98 or whatever versus 91 unless your car's actually set up for it.
There you go. Who would have thought? You ready? This is your next question. This is my question.
Okay.
When are you going to blow something up again like you did with the tyres?
Well, this is a bit of an exclusive sneak peek for your stream, mate. I might have purchased something which will come on the channel soon, which I'm halfway through testing. And I'll tell you what, if it doesn't pass muster, it may well get the same treatment as the tyre. So there you go. This is just for NAS, actually. It's a King's 120 amp hour lithium iron phosphate battery. And let me tell you, so far, I haven't pulled it apart now. I have full intentions of doing that. It's quite impressive, to be honest.
Oh,
I was shocked and amazed.
Did you pay for
when
that?
we pull it apart, we'll see what she's made of.
Did you pay for that one?
Sorry.
Did you pay for that, or they gave it to you?
Yeah, no. I'll pay for retail. Now, look, I see a bit of that too, and it's hard as a person on the platform. You get offers of lots of stuff, right? As I'm sure you do, Ed. You get emails coming across through the inbox full of
thousands,
all sorts of strange bits and pieces. And look, some of them are quite good, and a lot of it's not so much. And it's hard to be as subjective as you'd like to be if you got skin in the game, so to speak. So I'd much prefer to don't do like I've done with the Kings one. I've actually purchased that with my own money. And if it's rubbish, I'll tell you. And if it's good, I'll also tell you. So I much prefer to operate it that way without any skin in the game.
There you go. Here's a question from the audience. Let's just, hang on, it's moved. Here we go. Is lithium under bonnet battery? Is that an under bonnet lithium battery?
The Kings one?
Yeah.
No, it actually says on there not to operate it under the bonnet.
But that's
look, it's a limitation of the chemistry. Just because I believe iTech and DCS both advertise their batteries as under bonnet compatible, but it's a limitation of the chemistry. The chemistry that they're using in that battery is identical to the chemistry that they're using in the Red Arc. Is identical as they're using to in the Kings. It's all lithium iron phosphate. So other than a couple of tweaks, that they can't get past the limitations of the chemistry. You're still going to suffer worse performance. You're going to suffer more depreciation of things like capacity. You're going to shorten the lifespan of the thing up if you put it under bonnet. And a lot of places, you can see that reflected in the warranty. So they'll say if it's in the back of the vehicle, it might be 5 years. But if it's under bonnet, it might be 3 years. Because they know that you're doing bad things to the battery by putting it under the bonnet.
There you go. All right. Member question. It's my question. Talking about members. What a coincidence. So you have a Patreon or Patreon page, whatever you call it. So
I do.
could you fill people in about that one?
Okay, so I run a Patreon, and there's a link to it on the pages. I'm sure a few people have seen. What it does is basically you can join the Patreon and you'll get then exclusive. Usually I put it up a week beforehand. So you get a week beforehand, you'll get exclusive access to early videos, stickers and the like. So, I mean, if you want to subscribe, that's great. If you want to become a patron, that's great. As long as you're learning something or benefiting from it, that's really what I'm after.
Another question. These are all hard-hitting questions. You know that, don't you?
Okay.
I'll put you under the pump, buddy.
No, that's fine. That's what I'm here for, mate. That's what I'm here for.
All right. This is the question I like asking as well.
Well, the beta blockers are kicked in, so I'm fine.
Being a famous YouTuber as you are.
No, come on.
Yeah, well, I've met you a couple of times, 3 or 4 times, so I think you're famous.
Right.
People that bump into you in the street. What's the weirdest one that's bumped into you? Not weird as in person, like the situation you've been in. You know, you're eating a pie or something like that, and they go, "G'day." What's the weirdest one you've had?
Yeah, that I'm still not used to that, to be honest, and it's starting to happen sort of semi-regularly. With my job, I get around a fair bit, so I'm exposed to quite an array of people, and yeah, they come up to go, "Oh, mate, love your XYZ video." I ran into a bloke on the helicopter pad on Billy Goats. I was an electrical contractor the other day, dropping in on a client there, and he says, "Oh, I know you. You're the travel buddy guy."
You're the travel buddy guy.
And then it got even weirder because he said, "Can I have a selfie with you?" And yeah, that was very strange, let me tell you. And the fact that he was, look, this might come as a shock to some out there, but I'm not exactly 6'7". But this guy was. So I said, "Mate, you're gonna have to bob down a bit. You're not gonna get both of us in frame."
You're built for comfort, not speed. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes, correct.
Yes.
Everyone else is freakishly tall. I'm the correct height. Same height as the Fonz.
Because I was looking at your channel the other day, as I do, because I've stalked you for some time and met you a couple of times. Your most popular video was the toss-up between the CV boot change and the timing belt change.
Yeah, it's very odd how the YouTube algorithm works. So you know some videos that you put out, especially if there's a newly released product which has got a bit of interest already, you know they're going to do well. But if it's something that's updated regularly, electronics, for instance, are usually updated every 12 months or 18 months. You know that stuff's going to get an initial hit of large views, but probably won't do that well in the long run. I tend to do more what's called evergreen videos, whereas it won't get that many views initially, but later on it still steadily climbs.
Yeah.
So the CV one did nothing for, well, next to nothing, probably 2,000 views or so for about a year. And I thought, oh yeah, well, I was doing the job anyway, so I thought I'd video it. And then out of nowhere, it just started going absolutely bananas. And I think it's 800,000 views or something. And I really don't know where it's come from, to be honest.
Trevor's got a question up there for you. You see it?
Oh, I'll have to move a bit closer. Underbottle has been tested enough, considering without IP ratings boom or outback heat boom. Okay, so lithium, there's different types of lithium. So the ones that go boom tend to be lithium ion. Now that's what's common in mobile phones, for instance. Everyone remembers the old Note 7, and this is a different chemistry. This is lithium iron phosphate. So you can actually drive a nail through these things, and yes, they'll hiss and moan, but they won't explode on you. So it's a completely different chemistry. So you don't have to really worry about that so much. But yes, the under bonnet thing is an issue, and it's going to degrade the battery appreciably.
So you're not going to blow up a lithium battery on camera for me?
Well, I'd have to get one of the little fellas, you know, a mobile phone battery or one of those 18650s or something like that. We can blow one of them up, I suppose. But the likes of the King's battery, you could run an axe through it. It's not an issue.
Yeah. So you're quietly talking about all your testing and stuff. So what sort of, you like an engineer or just a really smart man?
None of the above. Well, it depends on your definition of an engineer, I suppose.
Anything.
Sorry?
Anything. Like, I don't know. My knowledge base is about this, and yours is this. I watch your videos, and someone go, and I go, okay, and I look for the graph, and that informs me everything I need to know.
I'm a tinkerer, and always have been ever since I was a young bloke. I think I first electrocuted myself at 240 back when I was about 8 or 10 years old. And you know, that probably shows sometimes.
That might explain that then.
Yeah, no, that explains a lot of things. And I've just always done it. And the only difference now, I think, is I video it occasionally. And look, the regularity is pretty sporadic. I don't concern myself too much with getting. I used to initially, but not so much these days, of getting a video out every week. It's when I feel like I've had enough fun with the particular thing, I'll do it. I've got a vast backlog of stuff I'm halfway through because I have trouble seeing things through. But yeah, I'm about halfway through lots of stuff. But I've got some really interesting stuff coming up, I think, anyway.
So you're a tinkerer. You're a tinker. Here you go. Here's a comment for you. Are you related to Robert Pepper?
No, he doesn't live too far from me though.
Oh,
and I know the bloke. So he was a fellow four-wheel drive instructor. We're both four-wheel drive instructors.
so you're a four-wheel drive instructor as well?
I am, yes.
Wow, I'm impressed.
I'm on hiatus at the moment. I was instructing for four-wheel drive Victoria. And then the club I'm with, which is the Land Cruiser Club, and I'm on hiatus for that. Though I still get called in as a ringer when we do the advanced course in the middle of the year. So we roll over a car with a high lift jack as a winch and bits and pieces like that. Use a turfer, you know, elaborate winching techniques and all that sort of thing. So I get dragged in for that one.
A bit like when we did that high country trip and we had to double line pull somebody up to the pinnacles.
Yes. Correct.
That was a good weekend away, actually, wasn't it?
It was a fantastic weekend away. We'll have to do it again one day soon.
Yeah, it's been a couple of years now. You ready?
Another hard-hitting question.
Oh, yeah, they're all hard-hitting, mate. What made you start your YouTube channel?
Okay, so fair enough. I was a full drive instructor, as I said before, and I found myself explaining a lot of the same things over and over again. And look, I didn't mind doing it at all, but I thought to myself, usually on a course we have 15 or 18 participants, that sort of mark. Sometimes a little less, sometimes a little more. And YouTube, you can do it, and once you make sure it's done properly, you can reach thousands or tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of people, and they'll benefit from a skill that you've already learned. And then the great thing about YouTube, of course, is you can benefit from skill sets that other people have. I know I've learned a lot from YouTube and various bits and pieces, computers, electronics, full driving, cars, camera gear, all that sort of stuff. So I really like the platform. So, and I think video's the future. So
Interview
I was doing, sorry?
Interview techniques.
Interview techniques. Well, fantastic, yes. Hard-hitting questions. You could be on 60 Minutes.
What? I lost track of what I was going to ask you now. I'm starstruck. There you go. I'm starstruck. Yeah. Oh, that's what I was going to ask you. When you're not doing, like, we have our niche, which is four-wheel driving and camping and all that sort of thing. When you're watching YouTube for pleasure, like for you, what sort of content do you like, or do you have a favourite YouTuber that you like watching?
Okay, no, that's a good question. What other niches interest me? So obviously this is full driving stuff, and I watch All the usual culprits, you know, Ronnie Dale, 4X Overland, all the big guys, Tyler Thompson, semi-regularly, and there's quite a few obscure ones that I've been watching lately. Les's Lab, so there's a good one. He's out of the UK. I watch a few electronics. Electro Boom, though he hasn't. Electro Boom's good. There's a few electronics because I have a bit of an electronics background, electrical background, so I watch a few of those. Adventure motorcyclists, they're always good to watch.
What's her name? Kinky Boots.
Yep.
Yes.
And quite a few more. So it's a fairly diverse range.
Oh, so that's for pleasure. And what about for pain? You watch my channel, don't you?
Well, depends on whether the beta blockers or not, mate. Yes, yeah, no, you could say that. That would be an accurate statement.
All right. Another one I was going to ask you. This is a personal question from the hard-hitting list. Camera gear. What do you use?
Oh, geez. Okay. So my main shooter is a Panasonic GH5. And that feeds what's called an external recorder called a Ninja 5, so I can record directly onto a hard drive, which makes things a lot faster. I've also got a few Sonys as well. So you currently look at me on one of my cameras, which is a Sony EV10, and I've got a Sony ZV-1 as well. And, you know, the usual assortment of GoPros and RX02s and stuff like that.
What do you know?
But the problem that they do have an issue called GAS, which is gear acquisition syndrome.
Gas is something I get when I eat white bread.
Sorry?
Gas is something I get when I eat white bread.
Yeah, no, me too. And it's not really about the gear. The gear's not going to make your content substantially better. I mean, your audio's got to be there, but people are fairly forgiving with the quality of the video, as long as it's reasonably well lit and the audio is clear. Cheaper cameras do just as well as newer cameras.
Ooh. Right, now, remember I said I had all these text messages today?
Yes, continue.
Yes. All these people just want to meet Simon. Oh, I want to meet Ed. You've got to introduce me to Simon. Oh, I don't know. I said, send me a couple of pineapples and I might arrange for you. This is one of the questions that was sent. This is one of the
questions. Am I getting cut in this, Ed?
Hey?
Am I getting cut in the pineapple action?
A couple of pineapples, mate. I'll introduce you. Now, this is a question that was sent to me. I've actually got one of these things. The Throttle Controller. Worth the money or a great marketing ploy?
Well, no good for my 80 series because it's mechanical injection. However, I do have one on the Zook. Now, it's petrol, so it doesn't make as much difference as, say, a turbocharged diesel, especially the smaller ones, which lack a bit of low-down torque. I really like them, to be honest. I know they're not giving you any more power and they're only mapping the throttle. Yep. But they seem, well, for instance, my parents have a Pajero Sport, and that thing was really doughy off the line, seemed to have a lot of lag. And look, I know it hasn't changed the physical attributes of the engine. The lag's still there, but it seems to, with less effort on the pedal, you get a better response. So, yeah, I like them.
You rate them then?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
I've got an
iDrive in the Zook.
Yeah, I've got an iDrive too. I usually use I dumb down the accelerator because, you know, you're bouncing down the road. But if you've done your driver training, you put your foot to the side and control the throttle.
Yep.
But if you're dumb, stick it in D for dumb and you bounce around a bit. I just dumb it down because if your foot hits it and you got it and walk back to 9, you're going to take off and break something.
Exactly.
That's what I do anyway. Works for me. Works for me. Okay. Camera gear. What's coming up? Tell us about your 4B. What made you do the channel? All right. This is probably an obvious question. What's your favourite content that you like making? Apart from things that play.
Well, obviously it's knitting videos. Yeah, so it's primarily technically orientated four-wheel driving niche, I suppose. I mean, they do say niche down, and I've certainly done that.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I'd like to diversify a little bit. I'd like to start integrating some trips. I do quite a few trips, actually, heading to the Queen's birthday weekend, I'm heading to Little Desert for a club trip. I'm running a club trip down there. But yeah, I probably should be more videoing that sort of stuff as well, and get a few of them up on the channel. But yeah, it's primarily full drive equipment testing that I'm doing at the moment.
All right, another one. Plasma rope or cable, which is stronger? Stronger.
It depends on your definition of strong, really.
Oh yeah.
And it depends on usage case. So it used to be that back in the day that plasma rope or synthetics were a lot more expensive than cable. And nowadays, with the proliferation of the imports and whatnot, and you're only not relying on one supplier, which used to be Amsteel back in the day, the prices have dropped considerably, where it's no longer a deciding factor. In fact, very few, even the cheap winches, are available with steel. I mean, if you're running a CFA truck, for instance, and it might be subjected to heat, by all means, go steel. Or a highly abrasive territory or something like that, because plasma rope doesn't like that. But other than that, for a recreational four-wheel driver, I really can't see any usage case for steel these days.
Okay. Question's probably going to come up in a minute. It's Simon. What do you think of the Pajero Sport? As I have a Gen 4 Page, so they're asking, what do you think of the Sport?
Okay, I quite like it actually. In its class, so you're talking the likes of the Page Sport, Prado's more or less in the class, though it's substantially more expensive. Fortuna, things like that. It's one of the only ones in its class that can run, besides the Prado, of course, which is more expensive, can run all-wheel drive on the road. I know my parents never leave it in rear-wheel drive. It's in all-wheel drive all of the time. It does make me laugh about the select shift. Why would you put it in rear-wheel drive? I mean, there's no wear benefit, really, the way it's set up. Because the four-wheel drive system is something similar to a Hilux, for instance. It doesn't actually unlock both hubs. So, yeah, I'll just leave it in all-wheel drive. I think they're a great thing. They tow their caravan with it, 2.7 tonne or thereabouts. It seems to do the job. Traction control works okay. The only thing I don't like about it is when you engage the standard rear differential lock, it drops out the traction control to the front wheels, which is a bit of a bugger. So a lot of the time, you're actually better off disengaging the rear lock and relying on the traction control, because that works pretty well. It's probably not Toyota 200 spec, which is probably the top of the line, but it's pretty close.
There you go. Somebody wants to know what your fuel consumption is out of your 80.
Oh, geez. I've got long range tanks for a reason. Laden, look, I haven't really checked it since I dropped back to 33s. I was on 35s, and there I was getting 14 litres per 100. It's actually very similar to the Zook. Now, the Zook, for the size of the car, it has absolutely horrendous fuel economy. It's about 14 litres per 100. But it's, it sits around 14, loaded up, doing a bit of a mix of on freeway and around town.
So you sort of get similar fuel economy to the FJ. Crap.
Yeah, probably.
So you should have bought an FJ.
Probably not.
Come on, there's nothing wrong with a medium wheelbase Prado.
No, I do like the FJs. Quite decent cars. The only thing that freaks me out about the FJ is the width of the B pillar. It's about 3.5 miles long. How do you see past it? How do you park that thing?
They're cool. I got these little mirrors on the side.
Oh, little blind spot mirrors.
Yeah, I look in those. I go, or I just put my indicator on and wait for somebody to tell me I'm going to run over them. Hey, it's all right. Sorry.
So you use the Italian lane change method where you just accelerate up.
That's no bad luck, mate. Your problem, not mine. Oh, here we go. Oh, hang on. Where'd that one? What? Just killed the question. Have a challenge replace. Oh, there you go. So, Rob, number 1 from Queensland, it's got a Challenger.
The Challenger.
Yeah.
They're not a bad car. I think NASA's had or has. Is he still got it? I don't even know. I don't know.
You have to ask NAS, mate. I wouldn't know. It's a secret what his new car is going to be.
Look, I've heard all sorts of things. I've heard 300 series Land Cruiser. I've heard Y62 Patrol. I've heard a Ford Ranger,
Hilux.
Amarok. I've heard all sorts of things. I don't know if there's any truth in any of it, but we'll find out, no doubt, when he gets it.
I reckon he. I'm just waiting for him to chime in with his. Oh, I got a video coming out this weekend of a new car. He hasn't chimed in yet. What's wrong with him? He's poking with a stick.
Yeah,
Oh, hang
no,
on.
you're
Here we
gonna have to
go.
give him a virtual
Here we go.
poke.
Big reveal Sunday.
Big reveal Sunday. Okay, we'll look forward to it. You're gonna have to set it as a premiere, mate, so I can check it out as soon as it drops.
Yeah. Did you hear that, Nass? Premiere, mate. None of this stuff I normally put out. Oh, that's what I was going to ask you. Favorite camping spot, like regardless of the weather, you go, mate. We're going camping and we're going to.
Depends on the company I'm in.
Ooh.
So some people decide to live more 5-star than 5 million star.
Mm.
And if I'm camping with those sort of people, probably Glenpatrick Campground, just out of Lexington there near the Pyrenees Ranges, out of Avoca.
Oh, yeah.
It's a great, big expanses of grass, flushing toilets, all the bits and pieces, big undercover area with tables and chairs and stuff. So that sort of camping. Other than that, probably my favourite camp is actually on the club property. We have a very secluded one called Blue Gum Outstation, which you pretty much need a double locked mud-tied car to get to. So not a lot of people get down there.
So that's your favourite spot because nobody goes there.
Yeah, correct.
Might have company around. Next one of my questions. When you go camping, you go to meal that you do. You go, mate, I'm having this, and this is what I have every time I go camping.
Oh, look, it depends on what the good lady wife has in store for me, really. Go to.
Yeah.
Okay, so breakfast, bacon and eggs. You got to do bacon and eggs for breakfast, don't you?
What did I tell you the other night?
It's compulsory. I thought there was a fine associated with it if you didn't. But as far as I don't really have a consistent meal that I go to. I don't mind a bit of damper. I'm partial to a curry or two. I don't mind a bit of chili. Anything but mushroom, really. I just can't get my head around mushrooms.
You can't do mushrooms?
I mustn't be any sort of fun guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're not really a fun guy, are you? You're just sort of fun guys. Boring as fat poo. We spoke about your memberships. There was something else I wanted to ask. Oh, there it is. Hang on. Banners.
Okay.
Catch can. Now this is more of a my question.
Okay, no, that's fine.
Steel braided brake lines. Want, need on a lifted 4B. So we've got our standard brake lines as you get on your car, and you lift your car up. Braided, or just keep them as they are?
Well, it depends on the type of car you're running to. If you're running like a solid axle vehicle, if you've got any sort of lift, you'll increase the amount of droop as well. So the intermediate brake line you'll need to get a longer one. So you'll have to dump the standard one anyway. As far as braided lines are concerned, one of my cars, the 80 series, runs braided throughout, and the Zeep doesn't. I noticed that it doesn't actually increase braking performance, but what it does is it improves the feel of the brakes. They don't feel quite as spongy. Now, the 80 series has decent brakes. The post 93 80 series has decent brakes, but by the time you put some braided brake lines and decent rotors and half decent pads on the thing, you can lock up 35s no problem. So, I like them. Only because they improve the feel of the brakes.
All right. You do high country stuff, don't you?
I do. I'm on the wrong side of the high country, so I tend to do more on the western side of Victoria as opposed to the high country. But I do get down there a little bit.
You got a favourite area you like going to up there?
Beside the club property?
Yes.
All the usuals, really. Billy Goats is always good for laugh. Down Dargo way, I'd say. I don't mind. And then around that sort of area, Crooked River, all the usual Mount Sunday, even though it's Jamison. Don't mind a bit of snow driving. Usually do that at least once a year. Usually we head from Jamison, from Jamison through with a permit, of course, for 4-wheel drive Victoria.
Of course.
And try and get a bit of snow driving in. That's always a bit of fun.
Okay, comments there. What do we got? Oh, it's all about the mushrooms.
I just don't get them. I've got a rule. You need rules in your life, right? Now, my rule as far as eating stuff is concerned is it's got to breathe air, so I don't eat fish. And second one, it's got to photosynthesize, so that rules out all levels of fungi, including mushrooms. So photosynthesis and breathing air. And
They're big words, you know.
Sorry?
They're big words from a boy from the West.
Oh, look, I have my moments, Ed. I have my moments.
Yeah, you want to baffle them once in a while. You go, oh, maybe I'm smarter than I look. I look smarter than I am. Favorite content camera gear. Oh, here's a big one. What's the future for the channel?
Oh, look. There'll be more of the same, of course. So there'll be a graph or two. I want to diversify. What I like to do primarily is, like I said, not only for camera gear, but for 4-wheel driving. The gas is an issue, so gear acquisition syndrome, and it doesn't help when the big influencers. And look, I know they have a business to run, so and they rely upon the income from their ventures to pay their employees. And look, I don't have an issue with that. But what I want to do and what I try and help people do is to utilize what they already have to the best of its ability. So instead of going out and buying that new great piece of fancy gear that old mate's been flogging on the TV or YouTube or Facebook or whatever, Instagram, they can make what they already have that maybe has been slightly disappointing them for a period of time, being able to use that very same thing with very mild modifications or even just a different way of utilizing it better for what they already have. That's if I can do that for a person, I'm really happy.
What about free stuff? How much free stuff do you get?
Like I said, I get a lot of offers and some of them are very strange.
What's the worst one you've been offered?
Oh, geez. There's so many, Ed. I've been offered stuff that's catered to ladies, which nothing filthy, like clothing and stuff like that. And I thought to myself, have they even watched the channel? I'm assuming at this point no. And if they had a look at my demographic now, I do have a number of women. Now, what's your demographic like on your channel, mate, as far as ladies versus gentlemen?
Yeah, there's not a lot of ladies. You're not really fighting them off with a stick.
Well, I'm assuming and everyone I've asked this question who's in the same niche, and it's a couple of people, some with smaller channels and some with larger channels, it's always 90 plus male and a very small percentage female, whom I'm assuming are subscribed to me because they feel obliged because they're related.
Family and friends, yeah, they do that.
Yeah, family and friends.
Yeah. Oh, better subscribe. His thing's all right. We done our record. We got our 30, and then it's gone back down to 29, mate. So.
Oh, down. Well, we need to get 31.
Oh, we need to get 31 people in. So quick, somebody just log in a couple more times. We want to break our record.
We do. We need to break the record. We need to be the record holder.
Oh, hang on. Here we go. Hey, the lady.
Share with your friends.
Comment for you. Maybe the lady stuff is for your amazing daughter,
Kayla. So one of 4. She's right into 4-wheel driving. All of the rest of them not so much. Well, one of them, the second oldest, does a little bit of off-roading, but mainly she's a destination driver. They have a Prado, and she'll drive out primarily to go to with a husband and kids for a spot, for swimming or something like that, and they'll do a little bit of off-roading, that sort of thing, but they're more of a destination driver. They won't just four-wheel drive for the sake of four-wheel driving.
Oh, where's the fun in there?
Whereas that's what I like to do, of course.
Destination driving's the way to go. Big trip coming up this year, by the way. Stay
Where are you heading
subscribed.
to?
Yep, I'm going to the Cape. You coming?
Oh, mate. I pre-COVID, I planned out a trip heading up that way. I've done a lot of the bottom of Australia, but I haven't done very much up the top, and not obviously because of the isolation. So I wanted to do a few things like the Long Reach Qantas Museum and a few other bits and pieces up that way, and head up the Cape from there. Take the sort of inland track through.
Yeah.
But, yes, haven't managed to get it across yet, but I will in the next couple of years, no doubt.
It's 97 days till I go to the Cape.
Oh, you must be. Have you got an advent calendar and everything?
Yeah, I am. Oh, look, I got a new shackle. An advent calendar. Good idea.
I know a bloke who you might know that thought content was on his Instagram reel was to open up an advent calendar every day coming up to Christmas.
Oh.
And I don't know how it worked for him, but I noticed last year he didn't do it. So I'm assuming
not an advent calendar. But the problem is I've got to take seriously, I've never had more than 2 weeks off work in my whole working life. Yeah. I'm taking a month off, and I really don't know what I'll probably love it, but I've got to close my business for a month, so I'm not going to make any money for a month. I go, oh no, this is going to hurt. But apparently the boss can save some money away.
That.
Yeah, we've got to get some of that cash. Well, we've done it. We've broken the record.
Are we 31?
35, mate. We've broken the internet.
35. There we go. It's a new record.
We broke the internet. We broke the internet.
We did.
I'm feeling good now. Hang on. What we got here?
That looks like a victory dance to me. Mate.
No, it's something else. All right, so we done here. So you're telling me the other day about you used to run 35s.
I did. I dropped down. Look, there's not a lot of underground clearance difference between 33s and 30. Well, what I'm running now is essentially 33s and 35s. Well, the 35s are actually 315 75 16s is what people commonly call 35s for a Land Cruiser, and they're 34.6 or something like that. You're only really getting less than an inch underneath the diffs, so it's not a great deal. It doesn't make that much difference off-road 31s versus 35s. Mm-hmm. Oh, sorry, 33 versus 35s. Having driven both.
You haven't driven both because it really helps your fuel economy too, I've noticed.
Oh, no, mine's still horrendous.
It's funny how you get that conversation. Oh, what's your fuel economy like on your four-wheel drive? Mate, if you bought a four-wheel drive, the last thing on your mind is fuel economy.
Do you see a Yaris or a Prius parked in the driveway? No, I don't care about fuel economy. Next question.
You just drive fast car. I don't think you get it, mate.
Not fast car. Well, not these days anyway.
No, not these days. All right. I'm not running out of questions. I just want to talk crap now.
No, that's fine. I can talk crap till the gals come home.
Really? Is this camera on? What happened with the Nana too? What's happened with your mate, the Nana? You haven't heard from him for a while.
Oh no, he's still floating around. I saw him. Probably about a week ago. And let me tell you what that cheeky bugger did. We met up down in a place called Raglan, which is just out of Beaufort, and we were sitting around a campfire. And I was there with a fellow who's part of Lockie Hubs, and you never see on camera, which is Matt, and another bloke who you never see on camera as well, which is Scotty from Lockie Hubs. And he notioned to James, who we affectionately refer to as a Nana, to go and zip tie my tail shaft on the Zook.
Oh, that bastard.
So, yes. James, if you're watching, I'm coming for you, mate.
Funny
It
story
might
about
happen
cable
overnight, but it will happen. Let me assure
funny
you.
story about cable ties. I was doing one of my Simpson trips with a mate. He's actually a very good mate of mine. And we north, we met in the middle. There's 2 trips going across, and we met in the middle for a big dinner and all the rest. Thinking hot day, blah blah blah. Sitting around, drinking water all day because you drink alcohol, you're just not happy.
Yep.
We pack up all of our gear, and I'm heading towards their Housley Springs, and they're heading towards Birdsville. Start the FJ up, and I hear tick, 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 and my heart just sunk.
Especially when you're out that far.
I've done a CV. I'm thinking,
Yeah.
my heart sunk. And they're going, what's wrong here? I go, I don't know, mate. Something's ticking. Get in the car and they bloody put cable ties around the top. I still haven't got him back yet. He thinks I have, but I haven't yet.
Right.
So I could have killed
They
him.
say vengeance is a dish best served cold, so it's probably been long enough. So you
I'm
better
going to get him back one day. I'm going to stick and tape his door shut or wire his horn up to his indicator or something. But
that's a classic. If you can do that nice and quickly, horn to indicator.
yeah, I've got to get him back. I was seriously going, that hurt. That really hurt that time. Patreon members. Actually, who are my members on? I forgot to. Yeah. Picked up a member or 3.
On Patreon or on your membership?
Oh, no, on the YouTube membership thing. So, while I'm the content. Talking about locking in your hubs, what did you call it that?
Oh, geez, I'll tell you what, this is a bit of an admission and probably the first time it's been mentioned publicly. So you got a bit of an exclusive here. Way back in the day, this is a number of years ago. I'm not letting my age go because it's older than I care to mention. I was out 4-wheel driving, and the car I was 4-wheel driving in had lockable hubs, and I may have forgotten, as part of the airing down procedure, to lock in my hubs, and I embarrassingly slid off a very flat, dirt, wet road into a gutter, and had to get recovered by the fellow in front of me who was driving a Prado. So I thought to myself, righto, from this day forward, whenever I run a trip, I'm going to call it lock your hubs and then whatever the trip is. And I'm still doing that. So the next trip I'm running is lock your hubs, Little Desert Spectacular. So, and the reason that is I don't forget now to lock in my hubs.
The best part about desert trips, trucks go, they don't go. Yeah, I'm going down there. Works for me anyway. So, where do you get all your testing gear from? The stuff you get to break shit and blow up shit. Where do you make it?
I've been accumulating over very many years. Some of it, obviously, you purchase. Others, you build bits and pieces. I think I've got a couple here. So this one here. See if I can lift it up into the camera there. So this is all. Another thing I've gotten into recently is 3D printing and 3D designing. So this box here, probably a bit hard to read, but it says lock your hubs on the front there. That's resin 3D printed and painted, designed in SolidWorks. And this is a tester for batteries. So this is a high load tester. So this one will eventually, when I put it through cables through the side, this will be able to load up a battery up to 500 amps. So bits and pieces like that, obviously, there's not really a commercially available solution. So you do what you can do and you build your own. What else have I done? This one's a bit of an odd one. This one's called a spectrometer. This is an optical spectrometer. And what that does is it assesses the composition of light. So as you all know, and you've seen a rainbow splits up the white light or the light from the sun into its different various color components. When all mixed together, they become white light. This can then tell you how much of which color of light is in the composition of light you're testing. So it's not only about output as far as the likes of spotlights and stuff is concerned, it's the quality of the light which is most important, and that has a lot of other factors. So there's things quite like a CRI, which is color rendering index, which tells you how well the light source that you're measuring replicates the sun, because obviously our eyes are evolved to best utilize the color spectrum from the sun, around midday or thereabouts. So you can see what the quality of that light is. And a lot of the cheaper LEDs, you'll notice they have a lot of reflections from speed signs and giveaway signs, and they, especially with ones with a lot of blue in them, will tire out your eyes very quickly. So with that sort of thing, you can see exactly where the various components of the light spectrum is, and you can then make an assessment of the quality of the light as well. And not only the visible spectrum, but in the parts we can't see as well, which is IR, and UV lights as well.
So you're going to do a graph so I can understand that?
I will.
Matt from MKM Touring Australia wants, what's your best meal you cook when camping, and what equipment do you use?
Okay, this is going to come as a surprise for most people, considering I'm right into the technology. I really enjoy cooking on fire, and I've made a conscientious effort to leave more and more of the modern cons as far as cooking is concerned at home, and try and utilize cooking on a fire primarily. I got down to the stage where I'd still take a little butane canister for inclement weather and whatnot, but other than that, I had no intention of using any sort of cooking other than on fire. So yeah, usually I've got a couple of fire pits. I've got a snow fire pit, which is extremely good. It's the one that everyone else has replicated.
Funny that, isn't it?
Sorry?
Funny that, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, it's like the Travel Buddy, for instance. It's a bloody good idea, and then everyone else said, yeah, it's a bloody good idea, but we should replicate it.
Yeah,
and then sell it.
Talking about Travel Buddy, original or a copy?
Look, I own 2 Travel Buddies, and both of them the originals. Now, there's a couple of reasons for that. Look, I've pulled apart a few of them, and to be honest, the quality of some of the imports is actually better than the quality. And I know that some people are going to get at me for this, and that's fine. I've got very broad shoulders. The quality of the imports is actually superior, the internal makeup, to the quality of some of the original Travel Buddies. I'm a bit of a patriot, so if I can buy the original Innovators product, and it's almost as good as the copies that are coming out there, the imitators as opposed to the originators, I'll go down that path. But one thing you would have noticed is none of the imitators are offering a 24-volt version, and I did a comparison not all that long ago. And let me tell you, when you're throwing 28 volts into a 24-volt Travel Buddy from a 12-volt source, nothing else even comes close. Unless you need a much larger oven like the Road Chef, the larger Road Chef oven, the 24-volt Travel Buddy fed 28 volts through a step up is the bee's knees, without a shadow of a doubt. Nothing else even gets close.
Got a question from a fellow geek. Bruce Shelley has asked, given your electrical background, what's your take on induction camp cooking?
Look, it's obviously very quick. What I don't see, and I assume we'll see into the future, is you have to use horrendous amounts of current in order to operate these things. So usually they're through a 2,000 or 3,000 watt inverter to convert the 12 volts that's usually there to 24 volts, and you can run, to 240 volts AC, and you can run anywhere up to 200 to 250 amps to do that, which is a horrendous amount of current in order to be just running a cooktop, for instance. You have to use cables as thick as your thumb. And what I envisage I'll see into the future, probably will be more split voltage systems. So still your car will run off 12 volts, but your accessories will run off 24 volts. Now, when it comes to solar installations, so stationary solar installations for batteries, a lot of them are 48 volts. And they do that for efficiency reasons. It's a lot more efficient to transmit higher voltages and lower voltages. You'll see the transmission lines there, 230k, so it's 230,000 volts, 230k volts AC, admittedly. And the reason they do that is they don't get the transmission losses that you do at much lower voltages. So you can use a much thinner cable, which is much more manageable, and you have a lot less heat-related issues and things like that. So what I think you'll see going into the future will be more compact and 24-volt batteries available. So you might get a 50 amp hour, for instance, 24-volt battery, which will have the equivalent amount of energy as a 12-volt 100 amp hour battery. And I think that's the way of the future. If people really want to run these high-load devices like induction cooktops, air fryers, anything to do with heat, really sucks down a lot of current, you'd be nuts to run it off 12 volts when 24 volts is a reasonably easy solution. And there's a lot of 24 volt stuff out there. There's a decent amount of 48 volt stuff out there, but there's a heck of a lot more 24 volt. And you can go to the likes of, if you want a DC charger, you can go to the likes of Victron or one of those guys, and you can get a 24 volt DC charger. So inputs your alternator at 12 volts or 13 volts or thereabouts, and outputs a voltage of around about 28 volts in order to charge 24 volt batteries. So I believe that'll be the future, 24 volt systems in the intermediary, and going forward from there, probably you'll get 48 volt systems as well.
Just put it in graph form. I'll understand it then.
I'll put it in a graph for you, mate. It'll be fine.
We've got one here from Rob. Prefer dirt or sand as in for your 4B driving?
Sorry, what was the question?
Prefer dirt or sand driving as in?
Oh, look, it depends on the car I'm in. I'm not a big fan of beach driving, to be honest. I mean, it's great when you're doing the diversions and stuff like that around, because it's a little more challenging, for instance. But beach driving's it's fun, but it's not nearly as much fun as say dune driving, for instance. For me, anyway. And look, each their own. So if I'm in the Zook, I'd much prefer to be sand driving because of the power and the auto. But if off-road, I much prefer to be on dirt and Land Cruiser.
There you go.
So a little bit of A, a little bit of column B.
Well, I don't know. Did I ask you this one? Last question. Aftermarket transmission coolers, steel or aluminum or aluminium? What's the go for distance for harsh driving conditions like, stuff that we like, corrugations and things like that? What's the go? Which one's the better, steel or aluminium, your trans cooler?
Okay. Look, as far as that's concerned, it's like aluminium versus steel wheels. I'd look more at the quality of manufacture than the material it's made out of. Sure, the materials have different properties. So the thermal conductivity of aluminium is far superior to metal, to a steel alloy. So aluminium's wipes the table in comparison with steel, in comparison with traditional steels. But I'd be more concerned with the quality of the manufacture. Usually much of the OME stuff, so that's the stuff that's originally supplied with cars, is of pretty decent quality. Of course, there's a few exemptions out there. And there's a lot of aftermarket stuff. So Arad and PWR, all those sort of manufacturers. I mean, I've got a PWR aluminium radiator in my Land Cruiser, and it's absolutely fantastic. It's a great Aussie built product. It costs pretty penny, but yeah, I'd be much more concerned with the quality of manufacture than the composition of. If they said to me, you can have this crap aluminium one with superior thermal properties or a really well manufactured steel one, I'd go for the really well manufactured steel one and just go a little bit bigger.
Just go bang.
I mean, aluminium does have fatigue problems.
A transmission cooler installed. I'm coming around to your joint, mate. You're putting it in.
Okay.
We'll do a collab.
We can do a collab. Well, is that what we're doing now? Are we collabing?
Yeah, we're collabing now. All right. We're at an hour, so that's good. That went pretty quick, as like it did the other night when we were just chatting.
Oh, really?
No,
okay.
it flies past. I don't really want to go for an hour longer, but I think an hour is good. Stickers, mate. I heard a nasty rumor that you might have some stickers.
Well, I did promise a giveaway, so I better keep up that end of the bargain.
Yeah,
so
mate.
I created a email, and that's free stickers. Write this down: free stickers at lockyourhubsforwheeldriving.com, not .au, just .com. So free stickers at lockyourhubsforwheeldriving.com. Send me an email with the address you want the sticker sent to, and I'll get one out to you in the post.
Oh, well, what I'll do is I'll post that in the doohickey down. Somebody gave me $10. Maybe I should still keep going. Thanks, mate. That's much appreciated. Oh,
Who's giving you $10, mate? You better mention who it was.
Oh, look, there you go. Super sticker, mate. $10 is $10 in anybody's language. So yeah, what I'll do is I'll get that email off you later on. I'll post it in the, as what they say, that button up there. I'll put it in a link in the description below.
In the doobly doo.
Yeah, we'll put it in there. How long you want me to leave it there? What, a week or two?
Yeah, throw it down for a couple of weeks, mate.
A couple of weeks.
Well, how many people? Depends on how many people we have currently watching. How many people do we have currently watching?
We've gone down to 24, mate. We got up to 32. So you busted. We broke the internet.
We did. We broke the internet.
We broke the internet. So I'm
we're
pretty
essentially
happy about
Kardashians,
that.
you and I.
Oh, look. It's coming in thick and fast now. Damn, I have to buy Trevor a coffee now.
Are they just trying to get rid of me? Have they had enough?
Anybody on here who hasn't subscribed to our good mate Trevor at Dirt Road 4x4, he's a good friend of both of ours.
Yes.
Hit him up, mate, because he's trying to get his 1,000. He wants to get his 1,000 so he can get interviewed.
I'll tell you what, he can almost taste it from where he is at the moment. So I think he's only 40 or so subscribers off. So not only do you get the quality content from Trevor, but get your wife to subscribe as well.
Yes, because apparently, I've got staff over at Trevor's 4x4 at Dirt Road 4x4. I've got a staff member over there who does my thumbnails.
She does an absolutely fantastic job, let me tell you.
Doesn't she? Oh, I can't believe that she looks after me so well.
I'll tell you what, you're going to have to provide me a decent introduction, mate. That's all I'm saying.
You reckon?
I want my thumbnails to look like yours.
Well, mate, you've got to go over. You be nice to the lady. I don't know how she does it. It's just I don't know how she does it. She just does. All right. So I think we might pull the pin there. Oh, hang on. Maybe I can help Simon out. I don't know who that is, but yeah. She should help Simon. Yeah, she should. All right. All right, guys, I think we'll leave it there for this evening. We've gone for an hour. I am good, thank you, mate. I am fantastic. Somebody just popped the messages as we're winding out. Never mind, Matthew. I am fantastic, mate. As I said, we're going to wind it up here. We've been on for an hour, so I'm pretty happy with that. Results been good. Oh, Time's giving me some money.
There you go.
There's a reason why he gave me $10 because I've got to buy him another couple of drinks there at the next Edge meeting.
Is he just paying you back
Lake Bogar? Yeah, the YouTube meet at Lake Bogar. I'll put a link in the description below. So we've got a Facebook group for Australian YouTubers, and a lot of people that I talk to are actually involved in that group. And we've got a Lake Bogar thing. Oh, you coming?
Look, I've got to sort out the date. It was September now, wasn't it?
He moved it to October.
He moved it to October. Okay, I'm going to have a look at the dates then. But I'd really like to come. Head on down and meet a few fellow tubers and see what we can see.
We've got some South Australians coming over.
Okay.
Good. Yeah. It'll be good.
Beautiful.
What was I talking of? Lost focus again. I saw money. What can I say? Money comes across the screen, mate. I see money.
Fair enough.
I've lost focus. Oh, that's right. I'm winding it up. Sorry. Thank you, Simon.
No worries, mate. Anytime.
Locking your hubs forward, right? It's been very enjoyable. I think we could probably went a lot longer with our technical questions, I think we might line something up at a later date.
No problems, mate. Anytime.
Or even you could even do one.
Oh, geez, I tell you what, I needed about half a bottle of beta blockers for this one if I ran one myself.
I know you've been stressing about this, haven't you, mate? So, as I said, we're going to wind this one up. Thanks, guys, for tuning in and turning up, and thank you for all your kind donations. I'll put that link in the description below for Simon's stickers. Now, if you have a YouTuber that you know personally, or you'd like to see him on Full Driving Camping being grilled and questioned, give him a bell, whoever they are. Tell them to give me an email. I'd love to have them on. The more, the merrier. And once again, guys, I'll see you all in the next video. And it's bye for now from me and Simon from Locking Hubs. Welcome back to the bush.
Thanks very much, guys.
Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you all next time.
Cheers.